All right, let's talk about the security features that Azure App Service gives you. Now, really the short form on this for right now, the too long didn't read. The soundbite version of this is that Azure App Service Security gives you the ability to add security to your application with minimal effort. And in its most basic forms, no changes to your application code whatsoever. So let's do a demo. So in this demo, we're going to enable authentication for our Azure App Service in the Azure portal. All right, so here we are in the portal for our Azure App Service. And in the left-hand column, we've got a bunch of different things in here that we can do in our app and configure. And what we care about here is this, authentication and authorization. Right now, App Service authentication is turned off. So anybody that goes to our application can hit the application and access it and run it. But let's turn on authentication. So now it asks us, what do we want to use to log in? So what are our authentication providers? And what's great about Azure App Service is that it has ways of easily integrating with Azure Active Directory, Microsoft accounts, Facebook accounts, Google accounts, Twitter accounts, OpenID. All these things are supported and easily added as authentication providers for your application. So this first dropdown we have right here, it says action to take when the request is not authenticated. And right now it allows anonymous requests. So it's not going to do anything. So even though we have App Service authentication turned on, it's not going to do anything yet. So let's change this. And I'm going to change it so that we log in with Azure Active Directory. Now I could do this for any of these other providers, but the one for Azure Active Directory is the easiest to set up. So I'm going to do that in this demo. So let's click on Azure Active Directory. Right now, management mode is turned to off, but I'm just going to choose Express. This is going to set up an application inside of our Azure Active Directory for this app. And all we have to do here is hit OK. Back on this page, we hit Save, and it saves the changes to our app. Now let's go to this tab that has our app running. This is what the app looked like when we deployed it. Let's hit Refresh. It gives me this dialog right here that says, do I want to consent to using my Azure Active Directory account to auth to this app? The answer for me is going to be yes. I'm going to say just fine. If we open up this little box here, it shows us what it's going to have access to. I'm going to click Accept. And now that just picks up my Azure Active Directory account that I'm logged into Edge with. Let's open up a private window, paste this URL in, and here's what it would look like if you weren't already logged in your browser. So I'm going to log in. So I'm going to type in my user account, click Next, enter my password, click Sign In, and I'm using two-factor authentication, so this just sent a notification to my phone. Approve it on my phone. I'll say, sure, stay signed in. And here we are in the application. Now that doesn't look like a heck of a lot, but if you think about what's happening under the surface, this just did a ton of stuff integrating with Azure Active Directory to make that work. And since we're using Azure Active Directory as our auth provider, or if we chose Google or Microsoft accounts or Twitter accounts or Facebook accounts, all that authentication logic, the username and password logic, is just taken care of for us, and it just works. And we didn't have to change a single line of code to turn security on for our application. Next up, let's do a different demo and let's explore how Azure App Service Security works.